Good day everyone, my name is Arslan and welcome to my second Blender speed modeling video. So today we are going to be making a cyberpunk themed isometric bedroom. It's going to be an interesting project. For the beginners, you can of course slow down the video and you can learn something from the workflow that I have followed. For the moderate users, I think it's fine. So most of the objects are that are made are they're simply modeled objects, the usual modeling which happens in Blender. And I'm gonna talk about the main commands that I've used for the moderate users. So after that, you can follow it by yourself. For the starting, for the bed and everything is just the usual modeling and adding the subdivision modifiers and the usual, the bevels and the extrudes and everything, and adding the control R, which is the loops for the specific sort of things. And I mean the specific shapes, you want to have the shapes. So for that is just the control R. And for these low poly models, because these asymmetric are usually low poly, so I've used this colorful palette, which is you can see on the left side. This is quite how it's quite an interesting way of doing things. I mean, you make a palette in Photoshop or somewhere else, and then you can just simply move around and scale your UVs, and you can color all the objects within your screen. And for the other ones, I've mostly used image textures for the wood and the floor and everything. Similarly, slowly we are going to be starting with the wires. Starting initially, I chose this wooden floor, but after that, I just went to the normal one because it wasn't looking that good. And right now, we're making the table. So again, it's the extrude and the cut loops and everything, nothing special. And another important thing is the snap tool, which we have on the top side. So make sure you turn on snap. It is extremely handy and you would significantly improve your workflow. And make sure you choose face. So face and snap, right? That's going to do the trick. It's going to, you would able to properly, snap the things that into their correct places. So that's quite handy. So face and snap. And right now we have the laptop. Um, is the usual shift D to make another copy and rotate it on the x-axis, and space and right join to join both of the elements, and then give it an emission shader, which would be a sort of a screen. And again, using the same colorful palette. So right now we're making the big TV or the big monitor on the backside. It has an isometric sort of a touch I've given to it. So I'm trying to add a lot of screens here and there. Um, and this you could say this this colorful style that we have inside Blender. It's quite handy, right? Because you could differentiate between the different elements that you have added on your screen. And for the mouse, again, I've just added a square and then a subdivision modifier, and then you leave it at that point. So it's gonna denote a mouse. For this matrix sort of an image texture, I have simply imported an image and then I've added an emission into it. And so this is the progress until now. I think it's quite interesting. It's nice. And this is the wood. These are the screws that I have sort of added. And then we are making another table which is going to be small size than the other one. And these isometric bedrooms, you have to make sure that your scale is automatically correct, right? That's what 3D is all about. You have to make sure your scale is correct. I mean, as far as the bed and the table is concerned, you have to make sure that both of them look right. And these are the Bezier curves, one of my favorite things inside Blender. uh, we are going to make a Bezier curve. We are going to give it an extrusion and sort of a thickness in the geometry, and then we are going to add an emission to it. So these are the wires, all right? So make wires through Bezier curves. and then I've added a small cabinet on the right side, and then again I'm making 4 more monitors, which would again have this matrix image. I'm trying to denote a hacker. So I think, yeah, that's, after you give the emission, it's going to look nice. So rotate 90 degrees, RY 90. And then we have 4 more monitors on this side. And we have the smartphone and the mouse. Similarly, so this is the progress until now. I think it looks quite good. I'm going to add more wires through Shift and D. And I'm also going to be adding more LED lights, which are these Cyberpunk lights. And then we have the pillow, which is again a normal square and a subdivision modifier, and a loop in the middle. So that's it. That's your pillow, right? It's a low poly pillow. I think it looks fine for now. And again, I'm coloring everything through the palettes, which is extremely awesome. I mean, you can have all the colors you want, and you simply have to unwrap and scale 0 and G to move your your under I mean your the vertices that you have on the left side. So you can just color everything. And this is the bottom, the plane. So I think quite some work has been done until now. Similarly, um, in this part, I'm trying to correct these colors. I've also imported a few low poly, assault rifles and weapons, which I'm going to add in the end. And this is another these LED vertical bulbs. These LED lights. Let's call them that. And now I think I'm going to be making the chair. So just a simple low poly chair. I think it will. So again, I'm using the palettes to color the chair, and we have these shelves on the top. And as usual, make sure you use the snap and the face tool. It's going to help. So the emission material is given to these vertical LEDs, and I think we're almost completed. All right, another pillow. And these are these low poly imports that I have, and that is my name. Just I've sort of a trademark, and again the palette method, which is extremely nice. So more assault rifles, more weapons, and make sure you give it a black material, and increase the metallic part of that material, right? The metallic section, the metallic property. So now these are more LED wires, and this is the laptop. So make sure these curves are control loops, control and R. These loops are pretty awesome. So this is the final render. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something from it. It was quite an interesting and a short project. So I'm going to be back with something more interesting next time. Have a good day.